Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Finding Your Voice podcast. And I'm so excited to have this guest who's a friend of mine, business associate. I appreciate all the work that she's doing and everything that she's supported me on, and I try to support her as well. We're going to talk to Queashar Halliburton. I call her Shar. So if you don't mind, Shar, that's how I'm going to refer to you. She is a best-selling author, sought-after speaker, certified success coach, and a visionary founder of Queashar Detroit Publishing LLC. And after 22 years in corporate America, Shar felt the calling for a new path, pioneering a new way for many. She boldly established Queashar Detroit Publishing in 2017. I wish I knew about her back then during my struggles. But beyond creating award winning, best selling literary works, such as her Skyrocket for Success, you need to get that. I have them both. I believe there's um, a couple of episodes to that particular project, and I have them both. She relentlessly equips and supports authors nationwide, positioning them to excel in the literary market. I want to introduce you to my friend Shar. Shar, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Velma. I really appreciate you taking the time to have me come and speak to your tribe. I appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you. Look, there's so
Thank you.
much more I could have said about you, but that's a mouthful. Even with the skyrocket your success, I learned a lot from the information you provided. So, like I said, my struggles in the beginning of becoming a part of the literary world wasn't easy. But had I had your books, I would have done well in the beginning. But I struggled. So I'm glad to have you on the platform. So we're going to get started with our questions. Um, so here is what I want to know. Everybody's journey is different. Some people begin in a very rocky way. Others, they sail right up there, but sometimes they get to the top of the mountain and then that's when they begin to experience the struggle. Some people get there and wonder whether or not they should quit. There's all sorts of challenges along the way. Some ex- experience the challenges in the very beginning. Others don't. It's a smooth path until they hit that rough patch right at the point of getting on the mountaintop. So, what we want to know from you is what were some of your struggles as you built your brand and the obstacles in the beginning or somewhere in the middle? Just share what you had to do to overcome them that will help somebody else who may be at that place right now.
Well, my story is that I had obstacles at the beginning, the middle, and still today have obstacles. It's just a part of life. And you have to know that you're called to do something and keep pushing forward. Like today, I had obstacles. My computer crashed a couple of days ago. So, I've been pushing through obstacles. Every day is always something. And when you know that you're called to do something, you're going to have those obstacles, but you must know what you're called to do and push through those obstacles. There are so many ways you can push through the obstacles. One, prayer is my backup and my foundation. And then just having that emotional intelligence to know how to keep going even through the obstacles that we face, because no matter where you are, if you get started and it looks like everything is going just as you plan, something's going to come in the middle of your project
Yep.
and make you feel like it's going to just kind of throw you off. But you just have to make sure that you know what your goal is. And
Yes.
when you know what your goals are and you stay steadfast in accomplishing your goals, then you'll be successful. But there are going to be obstacles every which way you turn. So you just have to know what you're called to do, have a plan already in place before you get started, and just keep pushing through them.
That's true. You can't just
Mm.
assume because you're watching us on this podcast, and we have been very successful in the areas that we have been given to offer our assigned audience. It looks easy, it looks perfectly done, but you have no idea the challenge that Shar and I had just getting this show started today. We had to literally start all over. So things like that happen. So did I tell Shar, well, let's just cancel? This doesn't appear to be a great day. I don't feel like pushing forward. I didn't like the way things happen. They all happen. I struggled with even sharing my purpose for this podcast. So all of those little hit and misses does not deter what I have to do today. And I'm just excited to have Shar on the platform. So what would have occurred had you not been able to hear her today? Had I just given up and said, well, since the system is not acting appropriately, let me just give up and let's do this another time. But we didn't. She was patient with me and was willing to start over. And so I appreciate what you said, Shar, because that's exactly what you and I experienced today. Exactly what you said. You keep pushing and you keep moving forward. So I want to ask you another question. What can you suggest to others who are just unsure of their path?
I would say when you are by yourself at night, when it's that quiet time, what do you feel like your purpose is? Because that's how my purpose was revealed to me. It's those quiet times when you feel like maybe you're about to go to sleep or whatever, but those things that keep coming to you. Like for me, in the beginning, it was writing a book. For so many years, God had placed that desire to write a book, but I just kept putting it by the wayside. Like, I'm going to do it one day. I'm so busy. I'm too busy right now because I'm in corporate America still. And I'm an insurance agent. And, you know, your job can be busy, and life, you can get, what I say, like in one of my books, you can get hypnotized by your 9 to 5 and just everyday life. And it's like, okay, you keep putting stuff off to the side. But every time I kept going to sleep in my quiet times, I kept hearing like, Shar, write that book, write that book. And so when you get those subtle suggestions in your head, or you feel like, you know, I believe it's God telling you that this is what you're called to do. And so, like I said, I kept ignoring it, but then I kept having trouble sleeping because I wasn't honoring, you know, the gift that God gave me. So I started to do stuff day by day. I started to do research first. I always was a writer. I love to write, so that wasn't the problem, but it's just the problem of getting published and all of the, you know, gray areas in that space. So I started to research, and then I found a mentor to help me with that process. So I would say you have to, first of all, know what you love to do.
Yeah.
And what you feel pressed to do. Something that you would normally do, you feel like this is what you're called to do. You're going to get that feeling. We all have those feelings. And if you don't know, start trying to research. What do you like? The first step is to assess where you are and assess where you want to be, and start thinking about, what do I love to do? What do people always give you compliments on? What are those things that, you know, feel like you are purpose to do, that you do every day, and people say, oh, you're good at this, you're good at that. Those are the things, those are our gifts. And those are the things that we can monetize.
Yes, that's so true. Shar, I mentioned the books that you have out. Can you tell us what are the names of your recent releases? Because I really benefited from what I read in your books. What are they? Because somebody
My
might
first
need
book
they need to see it and they need to know
is
about them.
Skyrocket Your Success: 10 Keys to Refocus, Reposition, and Reclaim Your Purpose. I wrote this book because first, I was kind of, just like that first question you asked, I was kind of deciding on what was my purpose. And I had to keep thinking what my purpose was. And I thought about, how did I get to this point where I knew what my purpose was? And I give you 10 keys to find out what your purpose is. And one of the first things that I would say is getting out of your head. You know, the negative thoughts that come to your head and try to stop you from achieving your goals. That's one of the first steps. Fighting through the negativity, because we're going to have bad days and we're going to have good days, but just being able to get out of that negative space. And sometimes you're going to even operate in that negative space. But as you grow, as you keep operating, you're going to move forward and do the things that you're called to do.
Yes.
But I wanted to give you one of those 10 keys. And the first one is to pray and ask God to identify your purpose in life. So another thing too, if you still can't figure out what your purpose is, you're brainstorming, ask God, pray and ask God what your purpose is, and it's going to be revealed to you.
Yes.
Another thing is, you can't share your dream with everybody. Everybody's not going to be on your purpose journey with you.
No.
It's important to have business besties, people that you can talk to, you can confide in when you're going through these challenges. You can't tell everybody, but have a select few one or two people that you can talk to about these things that you're going through, and you're not, you're not sure about this. Kind of have somebody to brainstorm with. Those are some important things. But so this is the first book, Skyrocket Your Success,
Yeah.
10 Keys to Refocus, Reposition, Reclaim Your Purpose. Now that you found out what your purpose is, the next step is to monetize it. And that's Skyrocket Your Success 2.0, the corporate
Mm-hmm.
woman's roadmap to navigate from employee to entrepreneur. So once you know what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
you can create a business based upon your intellectual property, your expertise. Create a business. And in doing that, I created 4 steps to do that. The first step is to assess where you are and determine where you want to be. And so assessment takes time, writing out what you can do well, again, what people say you do well, and what your passion lies. And then all those things can coincide. So assessing where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, removing obstacles
Yeah.
and building a champion mindset. And then the
Wow.
third thing is to build your business and skyrocket your success.
Wow.
And the fourth thing is to activate and maintain and sustain your enterprise so that you can
Mm-hmm.
take your business into the next generation.
Wow. I'm so glad I mentioned those books because I'm telling you, when I read them, what you had to say really stood out for me. And something you said too was getting out of your head. I remember in the
Mhm.
beginning, I worked in corporate too. And I was good at my business in terms of writing and developing programs, doing continuous improvement assessments and processes of that nature. However,
Mhm.
when I left that business, I knew exactly how to formulate conversations, written material based on the voice of my business. Sorry, the business that I work for, which was corporate. And that's how I got this title, Finding Your Voice, because I remember writing a story about my journey, discovering my own voice, leaving corporate America. I wrote for them. I understood their voice, but what was mine? What was it that I needed to say? And so sometimes in working in corporate, you forget that you have to discover what your voice is too. And we can
Right.
do the corporate voice very well. I handled the business very well. I mean, as a deputy administrator, I had to. And so it was difficult for me to step away and say to myself, now, what is your voice? And the other thing you said, I remember going through that very same thing once God revealed what it was I was to talk about. I looked at the literary world in that particular topic and genre, and I thought, wow, it's already inundated with thousands of other books, people saying the same thing. Why do I have to say the same thing that's already been said? But it wasn't the same thing. There was a specific audience for me. There's a specific audience for you too. And not only that, the way I had to say it was different from the way others have already said it. So I was really grateful to be able to find my way. Then the last thing you said was truly important. And that's what I discovered. You know, my inner circle, that's expensive real estate right there. So I just don't
Mhm.
let anyone into that spot, which is why I said when I introduced you, I consider you a friend. You're in that spot. And so if I need some help, or if I wanted an opinion about something, I value your honesty and how direct you are in what you know. And so I value what you know, Shar. And that's the reason I've reached out to you a couple of times. So that's why I wanted you to mention those books, because I know that you are good at what you have explained. And I wished I had your books when I started out. And that's why it's so important to me that others know what you have written because it's going to be valuable to them. And so the other thing you talked about was the bestie. That's that tribe. And I say that inner circle, whatever you want to call it, I call it a wise counsel. Those are people you want to have around you to help support you. I didn't have that in the beginning, but I sure value who I have right now. I value and respect and show that level of respect to each and every one I've allowed to that into that inner circle because it's important to me. And because it's expensive real estate, not everyone gets access. Not everyone gets a position there. So that brings me to this. In my book, I refer to that group as the wise counsel. Whether in my books, although I'm talking about dating, wise counsel is important to vet anything that you might be considering, anyone you might be considering. But it applies to business too. A wise counsel of people who understand this world and can help you and give you some wise advice. Or help you in making the decision that you might be considering. So here's my question, Shar, in terms of a wise counsel. Can you leave with the audience some bit of wisdom? You've given us a lot just coming from your books, but something else that you can say that would be your wisdom you would offer the audience that you can share in the form of a short message or just some wise advice you'd like to leave with the audience today.
One piece of wise advice that I would provide is to find somebody that is doing exactly what you want to do in excellence.
Hmm.
Just like you have a business bestie, you need to have a coach or someone that has already been successful achieving the goals that you want to accomplish. That's 100%. It's so important. It's so important to have someone to um, pour into you because they've already walked that path. They already are successful. You need to have someone that you can talk to, someone that you can ask questions to, someone that can kind of give you a shortcut because they've already
Yeah,
gone through it. So
yeah,
that's very important in your purpose journey.
that's awesome. Well, one of the things I've discovered, Shar, and you touched upon it, and that is I started out thinking that I had one thing to talk about. And lo and behold, through wise counsel, I discovered there are other things. And all of a sudden, I began writing back in 2018. So I've only been writing as an author with 17 books out for 6 years. So here I am, and I've done so many other things. So now I have all these other things under my umbrella. So I want to share this that now that I have done that, it looks like I'm going to have to rebrand to include all these other things that has evolved in what I'm doing now to make sure I'm encompassing all the new things that I'm doing. So what would you say to the person who gets to that point? You started off with one lane. Now you have multiple lanes under an umbrella of so many other things that you're doing. So what would you suggest to that person? Because we don't want to focus on being a one-hit wonder. You don't
Right.
know how what you're doing will evolve into so much more, which is what has happened to me. Now I have to look at rebranding my getting a brand new LLC in terms of what I'm doing now to make sure that umbrella is covered and everything I'm doing underneath is included. So, what would you say to that person, Shar?
I would say that you are your brand. The
Hmm.
gifts that you have are, if they're complementary, it's just a part, an extension.
Yep.
So I would say market yourself, and then everything else that you do will just fall in line as long as they're complementary. Say for instance, if you are a painter, right? You're gonna kind of build your business around different things about painting. But I would say that make sure that you stand out and you're going to shine as the star that you are, and then have complementary offerings to your
Wow.
business.
Wow. That's really beautiful. Well, Shar, this time has gone by so quickly, and I have enjoyed our conversation. Of course, I enjoyed having you on the show. Is there anything you'd like to leave with the audience, including how can they stay in touch with you or how can they get those books that you have?
Sure. You can stay in touch with me by going to the easiest way is Instagram. You can find me at Q like Queashar, D like Detroit Publishing, QD Publishing. Or you can email me at hello at Shar, SHAR, Halliburton, HALLIBURTON.com.
Mhm.
Another piece of advice I would like to say is that it's not too late. If you have that desire inside of you is brewing inside of you and you keep putting it off, it's not too late because for so many, as we get older, I'm in my 50s now. So as we get older and we grow, we think sometimes that I'm too old to do this. No, you're not. If God still gives you that desire, you keep waking up feeling like you want to do this or you're supposed to be doing that, you're supposed to be doing it. So get started.
Yep.
Get
Exactly.
started.
When you think about it, that's 7 years ago, or almost 7 years ago for me. I said six early. I was 64, turning 65. Some people may have considered themselves, oh, now it's too late. I'm retired. It's not time. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. So I appreciate you saying that. I thank you for being with me today, Shar. You've been an excellent guest. I enjoyed having you. So everybody that heard this, make sure you get in touch with Shar. If you're thinking about getting started and you haven't begun your journey as a writer, she's the person you want to reach out to. If you think that you can utilize and take advantage of some of the wisdom she shared with you, I encourage you to get her books because it blessed me, even though it was a time in my life where I had already gone past where I needed her help. I still valued what she had to say. So make sure you connect with Shar. And I thank you all for tuning in today. And I thank Shar for being with us. You all have a
Thank you
great
so
day.
much.